no place like home. There's no place.
Home.
Our house is a very, very, very fine house with 2 cats in the yard. Life used to be so hard. Now everything is easy 'cause of you.
Well, good morning. Welcome to Hour 2 of Home Wizards. We love to help improve your home and improve your life. I'm Cindy Dole.
I'm Eric Stromer.
And this is our new time, our new home, 8 to 10 in the mornings here. So make note of it. Follow us around because we love to help just kind of have some fun together figuring out this whole home thing, right?
Absolutely. You know, I love getting here earlier, too, because, again, it just gets me started sooner.
I think it just means more coffee for you is why you love it
Why
so
do you
much.
crawl in my head and hear my thoughts?
I made the mistake of making a flavored coffee. I was telling you yesterday.
Yeah, what was that?
It was, I always mix a little bit of regular coffee, and then I get some pizzazzy flavored thing, and this was like butternut toffee.
Yeah, see, I'm not a coffee flavor guy at
was
all.
too-
I like it just espresso, you know, there it is. Almost like it takes rust off of metal, that kind of strength.
Well, speaking of taking rust off of metal,
Yeah.
we're talking about ways to not be exposed to dangerous things.
That's right.
Wow! Woo! He comes out of nowhere, that Michael
Well,
Jackson.
he jumps out of stages like a crazy
I know.
man.
But it can be scary when you think of all the things that can go wrong in your home. I mean, you've seen it. You've been electrocuted.
You know,
haven't you?
I have, and I'll tell you, I've heard stories, and I know folks that have been injured severely by just not paying attention and following some basic guidelines. And it's really, you know, you look back on some of these accidents that happen around the home, and they're totally preventable most of the time. And the only times that they aren't, it's buried wiring that you don't see or sense that maybe sets fire to your home. But most of the things we're going to talk about, you could really prevent before it happens. So that's why I think this is great information.
I think that some of the things that people do, we get a little bold. Or maybe we just don't think, like putting a TV above the bathtub. You know, certain things like that we'll talk about that.
Or like,
be,
remember Bill Murray in Groundhog Day? He kept jumping in the bathtub holding a toaster because he just wanted it
right.
to...
Make it, don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, let's talk about some of the ways that you can really get into, as one friend would tell me, a hurt locker.
I like it. Yeah, that's great.
Right?
Yep.
Because, you know, we aren't all Rambo.
No, we're not.
We want to have some peace. We talked about feng shui earlier. We don't want to have danger and get injured in any way. So one of the things that I always worry about is the stuff that you can't see. You talked about the electrical current, right?
Mm-hmm, right.
And let's hire an electrician.
Yeah, exactly. And
Have an electrician.
and for example, if you are in a home that's a little bit older and you're in a bathroom setting or around water at a kitchen counter or pool equipment, anything like that, water and electricity where there's a convergence, you want to have a GFI. Okay, ground fault interceptor switch. So that's one of these switches where you plug in something. If, for example, you're holding a blow dryer and you fell into the bathtub, it would instantly just trip the switch. There's no more electricity.
Don't test it and try it, though.
Don't do it. Don't test it and try it. But seriously, this is the one thing, and this is obviously required now by all state contractor license boards. You have to have a GFI around water. So please do some research. Look in your home. If you have some old switches and plugs around water, get that taken care of. It's an inexpensive fix.
If you can't do it yourself, hire someone to do it.
That's
because
right.
it's worth, you know, the not dealing with the headache and just the fear of it, you know.
Right. Especially around pool decks too. My wife's cousin, unfortunately, when she was a little girl, they were remodeling a pool area and there were exposed wires and she was electrocuted.
No.
Yeah, I mean it's really and that can travel 20, 30 feet if it's not grounded.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to really watch all your pool equipment, make sure that you're clean and clear in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or I always worry about, we have a lot of old antique lamps in the house that are my parents, and they have that frayed extension cord sometimes.
That's right.
That cord that it almost becomes either crispy. Have you experienced that where you feel like it's going to snap and you go, this isn't right.
You know what that is? They used to use cloth wrap around wire back in the 20s and 30s, and so that stuff, and that's the stuff in attics that the rodents will start gnawing on, and that's when they just decompose. Stop it! Wait, let me hear it. What is it? Yeah, see, I hear that and I get nuts. Yeah.
Well, it's either that or it's the
right.
We have that
the
too.
scratching.
The scratching, and it's like, and I always go like that back to them, and they stop.
And
then they come
it's
back.
like it's the equivalent of my roommate Steve Marks in college going, "Turn down the music. I'm trying to study."
Okay.
Yeah, you remember.
What is he doing these days?
He's an agent.
Oh, okay. Is it like entertainment agent or secret agent?
A little bit. I think a little of both, actually.
All right. Well, what about the things that you can't see, like those the deadly carbon monoxide? We have some carbon monoxide detectors now in our home.
Great
do
idea.
You have
Yes,
those?
I do. Especially because my heating and air conditioning unit is right by my kid's bedroom, so I got really concerned because that's a place where gas could potentially leak. So
you can buy these for what? Maybe $10?
$10 or $15, and there are some that you can just plug right into the wall, and you turn them on, and bam, they're up. And when you hear them cheat, they go chip chip chip. That means that you got to take a look at what's going on.
Oh yeah, what show was it?
And obviously, I don't know if people know this, but the reason that gas smells is because they put an additive in gas.
Well, I'm a canary when it comes to that.
Yeah, I know. You have a great nose for that stuff.
But there was some TV show where they had the CO2 detector, or maybe it was the smoke alarm, and the battery was running short. It was dying, and somehow it had been hidden in an attic or somewhere. And so they could just chip, chip, chip. They couldn't figure out where it was or what it was. It's kind of a funny thing.
I love that.
Decomposing decks.
Yes.
You've seen a lot of that where the brackets and the fasteners they're all corroded.
Yeah, they give away. And between 2000 and 2008, about 30 people were killed from decks collapsing. So, this is serious business, especially in California.
You don't hear about decks collapsing.
No, you don't. But, and it's the same idea as those bleachers, that blow
you hear about
over
that,
or collapse
where
all the
there's
time.
too much weight, like at a concert or something.
So, this is what I would urge people to do, especially if you live in one of those houses where you have those extended decks coming off of a hillside or something. Mm-hmm. Just take a minute and walk around underneath and look at all the footings, which are the cement things that are holding the deck in place.
Those pylon.
Exactly. Where the wood meets the cement, double check to see that they're not rotting out there. And if they are, then either, deal with it or hire somebody to come in and take a look at it and amend the situation. And while you're under there, if you can look up at those deck areas and see if you have any of those, eroding or dry rot scenarios occurring underneath as well. And then if you're walking on top of the deck and you feel movement, either from the whole deck moving or shaking, or some boards are starting to give away, then it's time to really take a look at and see if you can replace
this
them.
is the year of the water dragon, and when we were talking with our feng shui expert
I'm
earlier,
so afraid of my southeast corner of my house.
They were saying, a lot of these experts are saying that now that we are in, according to the Chinese New Year, in this water dragon year, it's going to mean floods and earthquakes. And how all the big California earthquakes have happened, I know this is just kind of feng shui talk, have happened when it's been the year of the water dragon.
This is so encouraging.
So watch
to
the
know.
deck.
Well, and also I live in Northridge. Thank you.
Perfect.
It's great.
You're welcome to come over and hide in Glendale anytime.
Under your door frame. Yeah, thank you.
Death by dryer lint. Is that possible?
It is. This stuff is highly flammable, believe it or not.
We change it. We have a brand new front-loading dryer, and it's really great because in the front it has a little reminder, change it now before every load, which is really good because you get lazy, I think.
And that's not the place, though, that I'm concerned about. It's
really?
It's in the vent that goes outside and vents into the outside from the inside.
So how do we get in there?
What you do is you look on the other side from the wall outside in, and there's usually a little flapper that blows open when the dryer is working. And reach your hand up in there and see if you've got a collection of lint there. That's where you can get in some trouble.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, yeah.
Also, I urge people to often look behind the dryer and just make sure that hose is still connected. Because a lot of times, there's movement in the dryer as it's working. It can pull away from the dryer itself, and then lint is just blowing into the back of your room there.
Right.
I've seen that hundreds of times.
But otherwise, if that lint is catching up in the dryer, it can become really flammable.
Absolutely,
right? Bad news.
Yeah, and it can be flammable in the room too as well, and the heat can be generated from behind the machine, and it's just a bad deal. So keep that clean and understand what's going on there.
And we talked about the GFI and how that's great because it'll shut off. But seriously, when you're near water, you don't want to have a TV mounted right above the bathtub, right?
I wouldn't. Unless it's bracketed so extensively, and then that TV's plugged into a GFI. In that case, you're okay.
Better off to have it maybe over by the mirror, away from you, not directly over the bathtub, because we've seen some pictures of this. Really bad news.
I know. Better off to just read a book in the bathtub.
Listen to some music.
Or how about just wash yourself and get out?
And get one of these. In fact, you can listen to us on a shower radio. They have these. You can get them at Bed Bath & Beyond. They're waterproof, and you can just set it to 980 and listen to Home Wizards in the shower.
Wait, you're talking about KFWB?
KFWB.
That's right.
Why not?
I would.
Why not?
I do it right now. Right now, I've got it
$30
recording, and it's playing in my shower.
But
for
it's
whoever
fun, a
goes
little
in.
shower radio. All right,
Thank
we
you.
have more to talk about to help you with keeping your hazards away, some upgrades to have a healthier home. Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole, we're here to help improve your home and improve your life on Home Wizards here on KFWB News Talk 980. Our new time, 8 to 10.
Yes.
Welcome back to Home Wizards. I'm Cindy Dole.
I'm Eric Stromer.
And this is our new time.
And you know where we are, don't you?
We're in the danger
zone.
zone.
In the danger zone.
Hopefully your home isn't so dangerous,
No.
but you may not realize so many things that are just kind of lurking around to make it unhealthy, unsafe. So Eric and I thought we would talk about some real simple remedies, things you can do bit by bit over the next few weeks, because there are so many things you could do. But let's just start with the entryway. I mean, for starters, you walk into the doorway, boom, you're in the house. You don't want to slip and fall, right? Maybe something's going wrong with your entryway.
Right. Like, and there's not, what's the matter with having a welcome mat?
Welcome mat's
where you
great.
can wipe your feet off, because, that happens a lot at my house because I've got 1,000 kids running in and out all the time. They come in, they track the water, especially when the rain's happening, and the sprinklers have just gone off. And I can't tell you how many times my daughter's just wiped out in the foyer as she's
really?
running into the house. Yeah, absolutely.
What kind of a doormat do you like?
Well, I like the kind that are sort of that natural bristle.
That's what I have too.
Yeah, I
they
think
don't
those
feel
work
good
great.
on bare feet.
No, they're terrible.
But they're really good to
boy, it gets the stuff
to
off
get the muck out of
yeah,
your shoes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't use your mat when I was over there the other day, and I think I got some mud in your office.
Well, that's because I made you go out into the mud hole in the backyard there. Sorry. Yeah,
Sorry.
no worries.
Right after the house.
But
was
you rock the
cleaned.
white boots, and they didn't get muddy at all. I don't know how you do it.
I don't know.
I think you got special skills.
Special?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, so a mat is a good idea. What else would be? I think that pollen is a problem for a lot of folks, and I deal with so many friends who are constantly sneezing and have allergies, and you feel sorry and badly, and you wonder, well, how can you make the environment better?
Well, the first thing that you do is you remove the carpet and hope to God there's a hardwood floor underneath there, and then you just go with hardwood and area rugs, because there's nothing worse than carpet, especially old carpet. There's mold spores in there. You really can't ever vacuum them effectively. And if you ever I just demoed a carpet yesterday out of a house that we're working on, and it's been there maybe 5 years. Piles of sand and dirt under the padding.
Ick.
I mean, it's just
That's
unbelievable,
not
and that's
healthy.
just naturally what
Sure.
happens with shoes and stuff coming in.
And so vacuuming that, how do you? I mean, you can't get under
It's
there.
just a nonstop supply of dirt and pollens and toxins. So when it comes to the interior of the home, if you've got allergies, the carpet is the first thing to go. And if you can't do that, and you want that feeling, then at least get the lower pile carpeting that is much easier to care for.
For me,
and one more pet peeve I have.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Sure.
For all of you carpet installers out there who I'd like to strangle sometimes, you can't just put carpet over dirt. You've got to vacuum the floor up.
Right.
When
Why
you take out
wouldn't you?
most of them don't.
Really?
It makes me crazy.
They just
You
throw it
come,
down
you
there.
just come in, you pull the old stuff out.
No,
Yes.
We want a clean slate.
I can't
Shop
tell you how
vac.
many times I've seen this, and this is not, this is not a mass statement on everyone,
Well, hey,
but
so
I've
maybe,
seen it a lot.
Maybe we need to not only supervise, but do we shop vac ourselves so that we get
I
it
would,
done?
yep.
I would.
You say I want the carpet out, and before you put it back in, I need to look at it, and you guys gotta clean it up first
Ick.
with a shop vac. Seriously.
Well, cleaning is also big in terms of your clothes, and I do a lot of hand wash. And that if you hang your laundry outside, if you're an allergy sufferer, that may not be a good idea. It's going to really kind of bring that pollen now back inside.
That's a real, I never thought of that, because imagine you've got a piece of cloth.
The little avatar, the guys are floating onto your shirt.
They become filters for those little
and you bring it inside your closet, and then to that, if you have dry cleaning, I'm guilty of this. How many times do you bring home dry cleaning and you leave the plastic bags on the clothing maybe for a couple of days?
I always do. I thought you were supposed to do that.
No, because apparently now the chemicals can kind of seep into the air, and you can then have that strong chemical odor right there now in your closet. And, the dry cleaning solvent is a suspected carcinogen. So it might be a good idea. I think it is a good idea to just kind of take the bags off, the plastic off the minute you bring it home. And get those hangers. Get rid of those darn hangers.
You're talking about cancer blazer.
Wow.
Maybe not that extreme, but yeah, I have heard that stuff does leach out in the environment and creates some issues. So, the great idea. So take it off, air it out before it goes into the closet, and then you're good to go.
Now, are you a no shoes indoors policy kind of a family?
No, I wish I were.
Yeah. So a lot of people are doing that. We were over at a guy's house, and they take the shoes off right away. It's a good idea. If you might want to have that as part of your policy, get a basket of slippers or something at the front door for people then to slip into. You know what I mean? So that that now you aren't.
That's one of those
spreading.
homes that I long for, where you and I see those a lot, where you walk in and it's just so orderly and serene, and then you go to Miles and ding, diddle, 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 cows are running in and out of the living room, chickens everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's a good idea. Another idea is to install vent fans in crawl spaces. Have you done this quite a bit to kind of keep the humidity levels, in those areas to kind of prevent the musty, moldy?
I cannot tell you. And also, the attic fans.
Yes,
what they do is
those.
they suck the heat out they're on a thermostat. And I cannot tell you.
I grew up with one of those.
Yeah,
it's huge.
The efficiency of the house is 50% improved.
And it's cleaner air.
Because imagine the sun hits the roof heats up the air inside the attic, then there's no hope of the insulation doing its job. So if you can evacuate that hot air with an attic fan, or better still, a whole house fan. Do you know about these?
Yes.
Yeah, and that just makes breezes go through your house constantly during the summer.
It's like in your
months.
car. You might have that recycle button on your dashboard that just kind of keeps recycling the air. But imagine that in your house.
Yeah.
How about a pet checkpoint? To not only have an area where, I'm not talking about the cats and dogs coming in and out of the house, but a checkpoint where, whether it's in your laundry room or the kitchen, where you're keeping track of their medicines. Because they're probably taking some flea medicine, right? You're giving them flea and tick medicine every month. And
I embed it in a hunk of cheese. How do you do it?
Peanut.
Oh, you do. You just
peanut butter.
You just like to make them have that awful lip.
That's the tablet,
thing.
But then you also put a little bit of the ointment on the back of the crook of their neck. And did you know that, of course, that some of that stuff can rub off now onto your kids and your furnishings, and that's pesticide.
Oh, that's terrible.
So you got to, just kind of have an area where you're administering it, and so you can kind of monitor what you're doing.
Can I tell you about Hazel's ear infections?
Oh no, what's going
on? She's a Labradoodle. She's prone to the ear infections because she has the hair that grows in the ear, and so when you take her to get groomed, you got to pull that hair out, apparently.
Oh, a lot of dogs. Our dogs have a lot of hair in the ear.
But then sometimes she'll jump in the summer in the pool and swim with us, right?
And then it gets moist and it becomes a mildew situation.
And then not only that, and then so you lift your ears up and it's like you want to die. It's just like
it smells.
Oh God!
But I
horrible.
love her how she has like this little cane thing where you sit on the couch and she'll put her paw on your arm and then she
scoops you back to pet her. Yeah,
bring it back.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, what's that Vegas game where they have that long cane that pulls the
It's a little one of those. Like the act is over. Well,
that's it.
Not for Hazel.
Not quite.
Some of the things you might want to do in terms of like in your kitchen. What about cleaning the fridge filter before their expiration date? I mean, who's even thought of that? Do you do that?
No.
But that's going to help, I guess, to make everything cleaner and better and healthier.
There's
sediment in there.
Yes, there is. I recently discovered a food item that had we have an outdoor fridge. It had something in there from...
It was a science project, you mean?
Kind of like a couple of years ago deal.
Oh,
yeah, it was bad.
Ooh, I guess we know what your project is for today.
That's it.
That's going to be the
Clean
honey-do
that
list.
thing out. Yeah. A lot of baking soda.
Well, and I think it's a good idea while you're in the kitchen, too, to get rid of those cutting boards that are cracked, especially those ones that are made of maple or hard plastic.
Yeah, you know what I do too? I have cutting boards I use for meat, and then I have cutting boards I use for vegetables. And then I use white vinegar all the time. Do you ever use the white vinegar?
I do, and I also have a little bottle I call my bleach cleanup, and it's a little bit of bleach, a little bit of water, and a spritzer bottle, and then you have that, and
That's a good idea.
So either way, the vinegar and
I get creeped out by the raw chicken. I'm sorry to say.
I totally
just do.
The juices,
almost to the point where I don't even want to handle it.
Any kind of meat juice.
No way.
It's like no.
And then you realize like you're cooking, and then you reach the refrigerator handle, and then you go to the sink, and then before you know it, you got salmonella. The idea of it everywhere in your kitchen.
Well, we clearly have more things to talk about in terms of keeping danger at bay on the home front, and we'll be covering that, I guess, clearly for the many weeks to come, because there's so much room by room. But next segment, we're going to shift gears to talk about, there's a big game coming up. What about having games all the time in your backyard? I mean, we're talking like life-size chess and checkers.
I just love it.
And croquet.
So
and we
much
can
to
make
do
it,
in the
do
yard.
It. It's fun.
That's right.
All right, who needs the Super Sunday game? We got our own fun. All right, we'll watch that too.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I like the commercials.
Eric Strover, Cindy Dole. Home Wizards, our new time, 8 to 10, here on KFWB News Talk 980.